There's a common question that goes a little bit like this. How do I get good shows? Now, if you're asking that question, what you're actually asking is probably, how can I get my performance and my music in front of more people? People that I've not performed for in the past, and people that have possibly not even heard of me yet. Now, this advice goes out to bands that are just starting out, all the way to artists that have got a few runs on the board, maybe even a few years on the board, and want to continue growing what you're doing. And for both of you, I have this one simple question. And after this question will come a solution to getting some good shows. How many people can you, as an artist, get to any particular show, generally speaking? This is a pretty common question that you'll hear, and especially from venue bookers or talent buyers, wherever you are in the world. Now, this question is based on one very important thing. What are your fans like? Now, if you're just starting out, your fans might actually be friends, people you went to school with, people you go to college with, whatever it is, or they might be family. And the reason why those people are going to show up is because they support you as an individual, you as a person, you as a band. Now, that in itself is important to know, because in short, your journey as an artist is performing shows to friends and family, and moving that to a space where you're performing to people that are actually in love with your music and your artistry. And the transition in between there is something that takes quite a bit of time and some clever planning on your behalf. So if you're an artist, however, that's been going for a few years, you'll notice that you will have made that transition to friends and family don't really show up too often anymore, or at least not every time. And in fact, the people that do show up are the people that love you for your music and for who you are as an artist. All right, now once you've got that number, whether it's I can bring 20 friends and family to a show because I've only done 5 shows before and I reckon they're all going to come, or it's a case of I've toured this city 5 times before, or this is my home city and I've done this city 5 times before, and I know that I can get, on average, from statistics that I already know, about 50 people to the show, 100 people to the show, 300 people to the show. Whatever the number is, the number's important. Now, this is what I believe to be a pretty solid suggestion and solution to getting some more shows or getting better shows. Use that number with a little bit of elbow grease to get yourself into venues that are bigger than that number. Now, the way we do that is this. If your number, for example, regardless of whether you're just starting out or you've been going for a while, if your number is, say, 50, then what you want to be doing is aiming for venues, I would say, anywhere between 300 and 1,000. Now, when you play any venue, the goal is to always play a full venue. But how can you do that? If I've only got 50 fans coming and I want to play a venue that's between 300 and 1,000 people, and the goal is to sell it out, how the hell am I meant to do that? And it's pretty simple. You want to be on a support show. People know that support shows, supporting other artists, is a really great way to get in front of a new crowd. But you need to first reverse engineer the situation to make sure that you are providing a good solution to the act that you want to support. So this is what I suggest. By targeting venues and venue capacities rather than artists themselves, what you'll do is you'll put yourself in a position where you'll be able to make sense of this solution. This is the way that it goes. My crowd, I reckon I can bring, is about 50 people. I've targeted a venue that's between 300 and 1,000. Cool, let's go, say, right in the middle at around 600. Here's a venue in this city, or even a couple of venues in this city that fit that mark. All right, so what you then want to do is simply check out who's cruising through that venue in the next 2 to 6 months. And then what you want to do is see if there are any bands there that you like, any artists that you think are pretty cool, whether they be international or domestic, doesn't matter. because any good artist booking a show is going to try and book a show that they've got a really good chance of selling out. So if you're looking for bands cruising through those venues, then you're already close to playing a full room, because that's everyone's desire and dream and goal for that show. So this is where a little bit of elbow grease comes in. After you know your number, after you've done a little bit of research into what venues have what capacities in the city you're talking about, after you've done a little bit more digging into what bands are going through that venue, now comes the tricky part. Once you've figured out, say, anywhere from 1 to 10 shows that actually fit this scenario that we're talking about, you need to get in touch with that band, either directly, their manager, their booking agent, or their tour manager. Essentially, they're the main contacts. Don't bother with labels, don't bother with PR people. Essentially those 4 ones: the band themselves, the manager, the tour manager if there's one listed, or the booking agent. Now those 4 people, out of those 4 people, one of them will be responsible for choosing the support act on that tour, providing we're not talking about shows beyond the 1,000 capacity mark, because that's when it gets a lot more complicated. If we're talking about shows up to that mark, then one of those 4 people will be the person you need to speak to. Now, in most cases, the booking agent is actually required to, the booking agent's required to report any support submissions, as we call it, to the artist himself or the person that's running the tour. So you just want to make sure that you're on that list. Now, this is the pitch to all of those people. You need to tell all of these people this simple thing: hey, I'm an awesome artist because you can listen to me here. I know that from previous statistics or from previous shows, that if you have me on your show, I'll be able to bring 50 people, and I'm confident they're all going to buy a ticket to this show. I don't want to be paid. I just want to be on the show. Would you have me? Now, it's pretty simple. That whole message needs to come across in about 3 lines, plus 1 or 2 links to prove that you're a good artist. If you're a crap artist, it's not going to work. This goes without saying, but you need to actually be really good. You need to be able to add something of value to this show. So if you have successfully convinced this person that you're actually a good artist, then the sentence that says why you should be on that show and why you're going to benefit this artist's tour as they're coming through this city, in the numbers that you think you can bring, that sentence will sell the why for them. So you're not going to be crap. In fact, you're going to be great, and the show is going to be all the better for it, for you being on the show itself. And 2, you are actually going to help them be 1 step closer to selling out that venue, because that is, of course, their goal. And 3, you're not going to be a part of their travel expenses, because you know yourself, or you should know, that touring is super duper expensive. Now, a headline act might have a budget for the support artist, but I tell you what, if you give them essentially a right, or the offer at the very least to have you for free, that is going to suggest some pretty serious goodwill, and that goes a long way. And then at the end of the day, what in this exact scenario, in a venue of 600, you might be bringing 50 people to the show. So we're talking about a gap of 550 people that might have never seen or heard of you before, that will get the chance to fall in love with you that night. Any support act is going to get paid, between 100 and 500 bucks. It's not even worth arguing about. So offer it for free, be keen to do it for free, and if you get the show, make it the best damn show you've ever done. And those 550 people that have never heard of you before are going to make your 50 hopefully turn into 100, 200, whatever it is, and they're going to follow you onto the next show that you play. So no matter whether you're starting out or you've been doing this a couple of years, this model is going to work. And the reason why people don't do it is simply because they're lazy. So make a step towards this today. If you want good shows, don't look to people to get you good shows. You can very easily make some serious ground on this yourself. And I encourage you to do that.